Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video. 11th June it is, and I'm gonna cover the facts that I left yesterday, and many articles are there. 5 articles are there today, so we will discuss all of them, and it's a huge lesson. So let's start the lesson without wasting any time. And one important thing I want to tell you that for the newcomers, these articles are the most important thing. They make the basis, they make the platform for your understanding. And if you are new to UPSC, then you should revise all the articles since the starting of this year. And since January, I have been making these analysis videos and all. So you should go through all of them, and that will give you a good insight, and it will make a great platform, because the basic broad understanding of everything that is given by these articles, and this analysis is the most important aspect of the preparation now. So you have to go through that and keep following all these lessons, and the MCQs which are coming daily in the evening. The UPSC MCQ series is going on, and the PDF you will get here on this Facebook group. These are the words that I found today. Now the data. Government cautioned again, rushing into electrical vehicles, ill-timed decision can hit industry. It says that the FAME scheme that is going on, and you see we have been very much active in taking those steps which are eco-friendly, environment friendly, and the electric vehicles are also those kind of steps. And we are pushing for these things very hard, like in the solar sector, in the wind energy sector, we are pushing things, and we are achieving a lot there. So this FAME scheme, this is the 2.0 version, second version is going on, and faster adoption we are aiming for. Means we are going fast in this area, and we have decided that by 2030, 3-wheelers which are using normal engine, which are internal combustion engines. You see today whatever vehicles we use, they all are running on internal combustion engines. They use these conventional fuel, petrol, diesel, and they pollute the environment a lot. So these things will be replaced. These vehicles of 3-wheelers, they will be banned totally, and by 2025, 2-wheelers below 150cc, they all will be electric 2-wheelers. Otherwise these will be banned. So this is the issue that is troubling the industry a lot. It's a bright industry, automobile industry, and the SIAM, important association of automobile manufacturers, they are saying that it's a ill-timed decision, because BS4 norms, they just came 2 years back, and they all had to make these new engines compliant to these BS4 system. Now in 2020, next year, very next year, skipping 5, we are going to implement the BS6 norms on the lines of Euro 6 norms. So by 2020 we will be implementing BS6, and all these new engines, they will have to be compliant for these BS6 norms. So the prices of these vehicles, that will also go up. So the industry, which is going through a lot of stress, sales are at all-time low, and now this BS6 implementation is a great problem. And just after the implementation, within 2-3 years, these kind of norms, so this particular whole phase is a very troublesome time for the automobile industry, and that's why these manufacturers and this body, this is saying that it's an ill-timed decision. Although the environmental concerns are very much genuine, but this sector is a very important sector, very bright sector of the economy, and it will be hit very, very hard. Maybe some companies will be closed down because they do not have that much expertise and that much experience of electric vehicles manufacturing, and they need to do a lot of adjustment, a lot of new additions in their factories and all, and that is not a simple thing to do. So this is a perfect dilemma for the government, because environment is a huge concern. We have pledged a lot there, and this automobile sector is a very important, very bright sector. So that's very, very crucial. Next, Canada is to ban single use plastic. You see, we recently banned the import of single use plastic. Now Canada is going for this total ban in their country. We have not banned totally the use in this country, in our country, but we have banned the import. But Canada will ban the single use plastic from 2021. You see, the single use plastic, which is just used once, and after that it cannot be recycled, it is just thrown out, like the packaging stuff and all, and which is using this polymers and the important constituent of the plastics, and they are ultimately reaching up to oceans. They are not biodegradable, and they are just destroyed physically, and they are turning into smaller micro nanoplastics and all, and they are being absorbed by aquatic animals, and ultimately they are reaching up to humans also. So in human blood also these things are found. So some these nanoplastics and all and other toxic chemicals which are used in the production there, they are being found in our bodies now, and they are causing cancer, infertility, birth defects, impaired immunity. These are the problems which are the consequences. So it's a drastic impact, and all countries need to go for that. But you see, economy and economic reasons are always pushing us backwards, but environment is at a stage where reports are like that humanity may be vanished within 30 to 40 years. So we need to take drastic steps here. In Canada is going to ban that. 12 finance ministry officials forcibly retired. There is a rule 56 where government can forcibly retire some senior employees, mainly these bureaucrats and all, who have some allegations of corruption, who have some allegations of sexual harassment, and their efficiency is very low, and they are not working with the efficiency and within time. So if they are in the age group of 50 to 55 and they have completed their 30 years of service, they can be forcibly retired by the government. So this rule is used, and 12 senior officials of the Ministry of Finance, all are Indian Revenue Services officials, they are forcibly retired. And these allegations were there. It's a good move, because the non-working and these corrupt officials, they should certainly be removed from their jobs. But you see, one more aspect is very, very important, that politicians are also most of the time not effective, and they are not working properly their jobs, and they are not keeping their promises. What is their duty? That should be decided, because duties are decided for the employees and all. And bureaucrats, you see, there are less bureaucrats who are corrupt if you compare it with the politicians. Then this thing should be done for them also. It should not be the move only for the bureaucrats, because they are many times forced a lot, and the honest ones, they are troubled a lot by these politicians. So this thing should come first for the politicians, then for the bureaucrats. That is my opinion here. And you see, the duties should be fixed, because there is no duty fixed for the government or any politician or MLA MP. What he did, what he did not. So that should be a factor of accountability. So that is the case when you are taking these drastic measures. You are forcibly retiring anybody, and you see, the certainty should be there about the authenticity of these decisions, that these people are really corrupt or not. That should also be decided. Otherwise, maybe out of some political vendetta, maybe these kind of moves we can have. So this is just an example, and the possibility we are talking about here. Okay, and we have seen many examples in our democratic system here. So that is the case. Next, draft education policy suggesting some new measures. We have to discuss these things in much detail. Many articles will come, but some suggestions here. Like for the preschool kids, the age should be starting from 3, and it should go till 12th class. You see, draft policy recommends that till the class 12, this should be a free education, and it should be a right of every kid. And the integrated primary school framework, that should be from 3 to 8. And you see, Anganwadis, which are maintaining the nutritional standard and some basic education. You see, the education aspect is very much inefficient there. Students, or actually these kids, not students, we should call them, these kids, they do not learn much there. So the local primary schools, they should be attached with these Anganwadis and preschools. That is the case. And like modern ways like creches for these kids and all, these are suggested in this draft policy. And focus on play and discovery based learning should be there, as we see in the play schools and the creches. And MHRD, it is to oversee educational aspects of the preschool kids, because Anganwadis, they are maintaining the health sector. Right now WC ministry oversees Anganwadi system, so they do not care much about the educational aspect. So this aspect should be taken by MHRD here. So that is a very genuine recommendation. And you see, Indian students are very much capable, and it should be a happy learning, and a great experience based policy should be there. So it's a draft policy, it's not a finalized one now, but we have to see that. So these are the existing provisions and these are the new recommendations here. Okay, we need to discuss that in much detail. Many articles will come because it's just a draft and a lot of discussions are going on, and finalized system would be out very soon. Next, Sukhoi, which we took from Russia, Sukhoi planes, they are to be tipped with BrahMos ahead of the deadline. You see, the deadline they have given December 2020, and BrahMos, it's a cruise missile. Two types of missiles are there. The ballistic missiles, their path is like this, and cruise missiles, they go like that, parallel to the ground, and the height is also very low for the cruise missiles. So BrahMos is a cruise missile. Brahmaputra and Moscow are two rivers in India and Russia on the name of them. BrahMos missile, cruise missile, was developed, and now these are to be deployed in Sukhoi planes. Okay, so this is the way we are adding into our capacities. 40 planes, they will be given these missiles, and you see already we have taken many steps, like S-400 Triumph missile system deal we did with Russia, and recently in maritime area also we have done great jobs. So these are all important capacity additions, and these are commendable jobs in the recent past. Next, new extradition bill rocks Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a kind of a special administrative region, as they call itself, in China. So during the colonial times, Britishers, they took Hong Kong from China on a 99 years lease in 1898, and in 1997 when the lease ended, it was given again back to China. But they do not want to go with China. They say that we are Hong Kongers, we are not Chinese, and Hong Kong in a way is a very advanced city-like area, and it's the 6th largest urban agglomeration, and importantly, some protests are going on, and these issues are similar to NRC exercise. You see, according to some new amendment and proposed law, they say that some suspects, if will be found in Hong Kong, they will be again sent back to China. So expulsion of suspects to China, it's a huge concern, because again the system says that some authorities are not playing fairly here, and they may send some innocent people to China, and they want to alienate them from this particular land. So for that, lakhs of people, more than 10 lakh people, they came on roads, and these marches are going on against the government there. So Carrie Lam is the chief executive. Against her, a lot of anger is there, and these people say that we are proud people and we are not Chinese, we are a different system. So because of Chinese policy, some issues are there with Taiwan, with Hong Kong. And you see, we all know HSBC Bank, that was established by Britishers only in 1865 in Hong Kong. It is called Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank of China. So Hong Kong is that same place. If you look at the map, this is the location of Hong Kong. Pearl River is here where the mouth is located, and this is China. Beijing, it is India. So it is Hong Kong here, and they call itself Hong Kong Special Administrative Region of People's Republic of China. So although it is there in China, but they call itself Special Administrative Region. Okay, and fourth most densely populated region region as a city, and first opium wars happened in 1842. Okay, so at that time Hong Kong Island was ceded to Britishers, and later in 1898 they took it on lease from China, and it expired in 1997. So these details are important. Next, regarding the plastics, you see PET, the PET short form is polyethylene terephthalate, or we popularly call it polymers, and out of that we made plastics, and it's important synthetic yarn and all. And you see, out of the petrochemical processes, petrochemical feedstock as we call them, you see the process of purification of petrol and crude oil and all. So there as a process we get the material here, and out of that we make plastics. Virgin plastic is a phenomena where it is not recycled before, it is just made as a plastic, and then it is used in some packaging items and in some bottles and all. So that is virgin plastic, and different recycled plastics are also there, but main issue is that PET, it's a polymer actually. Okay, so now the Adidas company is taking help from a Nasik based company that is called Polygenta, and they are gonna convert around 8 to 10 million bottles a day in a couple of years from now. So they will produce the yarn out of it, and the yarn produced by Polygenta currently sent to Adidas company, and they are making sportswears like shoes and all. They will making out of these synthetic yarn, and that synthetic yarn would be made from the plastic. So this way it will not reach, or it will not land up to oceans and all, and it will be reused in a productive manner. So Adidas is taking this step, and that is a very important step here. So they may ask you about that. They may ask you about the PET also, which is called polyethylene terephthalate, and it's a resin of polyester family, and it's a common thermoplastic polymer. Means out of temperature it can be changing its shape. So thermoplastic is that plastic. Means if you give it some heat, then it will melt down, and you can give different shapes to it. It is called Terylene in UK, it is called Dacron in US, and Levsan in Russia. So these are common names, and these are important details. Next is regarding Chandrayaan 2. We have discussed a lot about this issue. GSLV Mark 3 will be taking it in July. The window is given 9 to 16 July. In this week they will be taking it. It's the first mission, first lander and a rover mission by India. Means lander Vikram would be there, and Vikram would be making the soft landing possible. Soft landing is the most challenging task on moon, because there is no atmosphere, and soft landing on the surface without hitting it, that is the biggest challenge. So that would be made possible by Vikram lander, and the Pragyan rover, which will be moving as a cart on the surface, that is gonna collect a lot of samples from there. So that is the issue, and it's the first lander and rover mission. And some other challenges are also there, like it's a trajectory maintaining, that is very much difficult, and communications are also very much difficult. All the time these rovers and all, they should be connected to the orbiter, and that orbiter would be sending us the details there. And GSLV Mark 3 is the only capable vehicle here, because PSLV cannot take things to that much height, and the weight is also very much out of the capacity of the PSLV. PSLV can take around less than 2500, you can say, kgs weight, and it is the 3500 kg weight mission. So this moon landing is very much specific. It's a heavy one, and a lander and rover, these are the important highlights here. Lander Vikram, rover is Pragyan. So these are the details important for prelims and mains both. Next, about the articles today. This article will be very much crucial for GS paper 2. It is talking about the next 5 years foreign policy. All the issues we have discussed in much detail, but for the newcomers, you see, it's a challenging task. When the Modi government came in 2014, then different kind of challenges were there. World was not that much disorderly at that time. Today the world is much more disorderly. Issues are going on, like US China trade war is going on, US Russia provocation is going on, Iran nuclear deal is scrapped, issues with Iran and America, and issues there in Yemen, America's proxy war in Yemen, and provocation of countries like Iran, Russia, and this North Korea. All these things are going on. Growth is not there in the world, and countries like Japan, America, they are getting very low growth rates. So it's a troublesome phase for the whole world, and nobody is clear about America, nobody is clear about the Trump administration, and being a multipolar world, things are very much unpredictable today. So we focused on our neighborhood first in 2014, when the first oath came for Mr. Modi ji. Then he called all these people, but now this thing is not up to that particular level, and hostilities with Pakistan is at peak, and Kashmir is an ever burning issue, and we are finding it very, very difficult to balance things with even our neighbors. So you cannot say that we are going through a best of the phase with our neighbors. Problems are there with Pakistan. The Doklam happened, and the problems are still there with China, and with Sri Lanka you can say some good relations, with Bangladesh some good relations, with Myanmar good relations, but overall the SAARC issue is not that much up to the mark. So now different kind of challenges, good support is there with the government, they can go for bold decisions, but a lot of diplomatic capital, a lot of expertise and professionalism is needed here. So now you see, SAARC spirit soon evaporated, and we actually skipped that particular summit. After that, which are the groups which are left for the region? BIMSTEC, BBIN, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, these are left. But you see, SAARC is much more important, and that is not working here. That may be a problem. And you see, regarding the politics in India, warmongering happened, everything happened, and it was a kind of a warlike situation, and all the emotions ran high, and full advantage was taken in the politics and the elections. And what happened after that? We can see clearly what just happened. It all happened as it was happening before, because war is not an option. Nobody can afford the war, and some of the channels should be open. That is the ultimate understanding again and again. So now we need to bring some communication channels here, and this is the only way. And you see, it's a very unfortunate situation, and we cannot do anything about that. We cannot change our neighbors. So that's a cost we always have to pay, but always the aim should be that the minimum cost we would pay. But war is very, very costly. We know we are losing our soldiers, and these terror attacks are not stopping, but we need different kind of solutions there. War is not the solution there, and we cannot afford thousands of soldiers martyrdom there. So that is why war was never an option, but some robust steps should be taken there. And you see, international pressure is there, but all countries like America, China, Russia, they are looking for their own interest always. So till the time things are bilateral, things are in control, and things are not going out of our hands, out of our house, as we can say. So we can manage better in that way. So the communication channels should be open. So now we should work on that. And this outsourcing of the crisis management, as it happened in the Abhinandan's case, where America, UAE, Saudi Arabia, they all jumped in, and they all took credit out of this issue, and they said that because of us this was possible. So we could not do much about that. Anyhow, this thing was calmed down, and after that, what is happening? Things are coming towards a kind of a average normal condition between India and Pakistan's relation. But you see, it will take some time, and it will be back to the normal condition if some escalation doesn't happen in a near future. But the Jammu and Kashmir situation is a ever growing problem, and we are not able to manage that. That is a very negative addition in the relations between India and Pakistan. Until the time that issue is not solved efficiently, we cannot expect any kind of good relation with Pakistan, and that is altogether a negative issue for us, because SAARC would not be working without Pakistan. And you see, when India and Pakistan, they are not coming on a kind of a same page, same platform, they are not discussing the issues, then the issue of Taliban, the issue of Afghanistan is also cannot be solved with much efficiency. So that's why this SAARC group is very much crucial. And you see, multi-pronged diplomatic efforts, these are the dire needs today. You see, we know that it's a multipolar world, it's a bigger need, but the protectionism is also going on for the countries like America. They are all going for their own protectionism. Brexit is happening. So this world is very much disturbed today, and nothing is decided. We cannot say something surely about European Union or Britain, about Brexit. We cannot say anything about the Trump administration, which way they are going. We came very close to America. Now we are at a brink of a trade war. The issues with the China and America, they are not going to be solved soon, and Huawei issue is a huge issue. And the dilemma between India, Russia, and India, America, and this triangle is very much problematic. How do we manage that? They brought LEMOA, COMCASA, and we signed all of them. 2+2 happened with America and India. So things were very much positive, and we were on an edge of becoming a strategic ally of America. But now we are going just backwards, and in a way we are turning very much negative towards each other. So what kind of phase will be there in the future, nobody knows, because they are raising now concerns like S-400 deal, which we did boldly with Russia. Now America is raising concern regarding the S-400 Triumph defense system also, and it says that we will apply CATSA here, because how did you do this deal with our adversary Russia? So that's the case now. GSP is ended, so it's all coming towards a threat like situation for India from American side. So this is a kind of a complex scenario. How do we balance that relation between these Russia and America for India? So it's a very testing phase for us. So we need to move very efficiently, very cautiously, and a lot of diplomatic capital would have to be invested here. Diplomatic capital means the expertise, the professionalism, and in some stances we need to do some compromises and all, and we need to maintain those issues, and we need to keep things in our control. Soft diplomacy, cultural relations, we will have to extend to countries and all. And first thing, we need to go good with our neighbors. When we will win the situations in our neighborhood, then only we can go further. China does that very efficiently, and with a proper dominance it can create with these neighbors. And you see, maybe these are all these countries are not happy with China, but somehow they cannot oppose it, but they can easily oppose India in all the issues. So we are having some troubles here from especially from the Pakistan side and Chinese side. So we need to go with a balance, and the issue with Pakistan should be solved as early as possible. Issues with China should also be solved as soon as possible, because as I always say, this is the Asian century, and the cooperation between Russia, China and India should be there. Then America would automatically coming together towards us, because we will be a very strong group. And right now there is a great rift between India and China, and America is trying to bring this rift between India and Russia also. So in which way we are going to move, and what is going to happen with the CATSA like provisions, and now Iran deal is scrapped, so the area is very much unstable. What kind of future is there for Iran, and Taliban's future, what it is going to be, nobody knows about that, because America is trying very hard to control these situations, but situations are not under its control. Here in Afghanistan, the situation is more in control of Taliban. In Iran, Iran is defying all the pressures there, and China is again defying American pressure there. So America in a way is very much isolated, but it is using its force a lot. So it's a very, very complex situation, and a country like India, which is at the center of all these problems, we need to balance all these tasks. So that is the gist of this particular article. You see, China and US, as I told you, after the Wuhan summit, anyhow we could calm down the Doklam issue. Otherwise it was a huge escalation, and we could have gone towards a very negative phase. But today we cannot go totally on the way of bilateral relations, but we cannot also go towards totally non-aligned approach. Somewhere in between that, means somewhere we will need good bilateral relations. Actually, always we need good bilateral relations, and always we need to remain neutral. But forces are working that are not allowing us to remain neutral. So sometimes we are going more towards America, sometimes we are embracing Russia again, sometimes we are very much against China, but somehow we are not letting things that which are going out of our control. So this is a situation. Always we need to assess the situation, that in which way we should move, which way the country is going through, and what big countries are doing, what they are planning. We always need to assess that, because things are never crystal clear. Always we need to read between the lines here. So that is the case, and pragmatism is the thing that we need, and professionalism. One big problem over the last 5 years that more personal handling happened for the international relations, and that should be never allowed. It should be very much a professional, and the diplomacy is very strong for India. The diplomatic relations should be maintained. They have their particular standard, and that should be maintained. And always we have maintained this neutral approach, and our image was very much good. But whatever is happening in the domestic area, that is certainly hampering our international image, and that is never good. If we are becoming an aggressive country, if more right-wing rise is happening, then we can never remain neutral internationally. certainly we will be going towards some kind of grouping, and that would be devastating for a country like India, because after that where we would go, because we are not still at that level where America, China, Russia, these countries are standing. We are on a different page. We are aspiring to reach there. So we need to manage many issues, and the environmental concerns and all these are very genuine reasons here. Okay, so that is the case. So let's see how we proceed here. You should read the text here. I've explained the whole issue in a proper manner so that it can be very easy for you to understand. Otherwise, these things are going in a series like a condition in articles, so sometimes it is very difficult to understand all these things. So I've given you all the context and the understanding of it. So please go through the text once. Next, striking a balance. RBI came up with the first circular for these companies regarding the NPA situation in February. 12th of February was the date, and that time they gave a deadline for these companies to solve the NPA crisis. But Supreme Court struck down this particular circular because it was very much arbitrary in a sense, and it said that RBI does not have that much of power. It cannot dictate these kind of terms, although the situation is very difficult and it the time demands that, but RBI cannot overreach here in this issue. Now RBI coming again with the second version of that circular, and this time it's a noteworthy circular. It is balancing all the situation. It is not overreaching its powers, and it is certainly conveying the same message which was there in the first circular. And you see, it is the need of the hour. NPAs are rising day by day because every day the interest is being added into these accounts in these loans. So NPAs are rising every day. IBC as a code came in 2016. Some recoveries happened, but the major situation is very much difficult for the banks, and mainly for the scheduled commercial banks. They are facing a lot of fire here, and most of these banks, they are recording negative growth there, and no big amount of what we can say profits they are not recording here, and this is all because of the NPA situation. So we are hoping that this particular circular would be very much effective, and this is a commendable one. All the economists and all these scholars and all, they are saying that it's a nuanced approach. So slight changes are done, and these are noteworthy, and it is not hampering the image of the RBI, and it is certainly serving the purpose if it is executed in a proper manner. So that is the case. So we need more and more efficiency with the insolvency courts and all, more and more genuine and honest approach. Political will is also needed. Maybe we should go for the one-time capital infusion in the banks. That is suggested by many scholars here, because the banks are going through a lot of crises, and they need funds immediately till the time these things are solved. And you see, if this thing is managed, these NPAs crisis, that is somehow managed with this circular, then nothing can be better than that. So that is the case here. Okay, so banks are supported by this RBI circular, and some powers are retaining with them regarding the insolvency process, because insolvency process has not been very successful till now, but the circular can make some changes here. This article you have to read. It is regarding the language and its philosophical aspect, its social aspect, and how it is connecting people, how it is making a history of civilization, and how it is very much important, attached to our hearts. And maybe regionalism is created out of the language only, mainly in the southern states. But you see, we have to take this thing in a positive manner, and pushing something going towards purification, going towards a kind of a fighting stage for this region, that is wrong. That is perfectly said by the writer. He says that we were very similar in our past. We all got developed, we all got evolved in a sense. Different languages, they looked similar in the starting, then different kind of regions were there, different kind of languages evolved out of these situations. Many words we have found always which are telling us that the origin was similar for all the languages. So that is the case here, and on the basis of that, we must follow a cooperative path here, fighting in the name of language, forcing some language, and talking about the purification, talking about too much pride in somebody's language and all. That is not good. We should be learning each other, we should be respecting each other, and some things should be very much comfortable. And you see, the expression is very much basic in the primary learning of the kids in the starting years of the schooling and all. Mother language has a major role. Late in the later years, we should go for additional languages for sure, and there's no doubt about that. We should learn more and more, but in the starting, the particular language is very much important. So you should read the text here. It is just about the reading. It is not about something explaining here. So it is not the issue to explain. So please go through it, read it once, and bring your own assumptions on this issue. It's a simple language, and all the examples are given here. Next, regarding the artificial intelligence, you see, we are gonna see a different kind of future where robots would be driving cars, flying planes, everything. And recently Kerala police inducted a robot for police work, and you see, a lot of efficiency can be added here, and with the low cost, because we will need lesser employees. So it's not a good news for the employment seekers, but good news for the government and the authorities and the able people, rich people. They can deploy these artificial intelligence based robots, and machine learning is the concept here. Machines are learning, robots are learning, they are learning out of the data, they are learning out of the experience. But you see, when this is going to happen and they will behave like humans, then what kind of laws would be there? Because there are laws for humans, so there must be laws for the human like robots. If in a future, in at some place on some road, if a robot driving car hits a person and it kills some person, then what kind of law would be applicable here? Germany is bringing some ethical norms for that. Korea, China, Japan, they are going to follow Germany here. The US is discussing a lot this issue. So it's a 21st century concept, and we will see a different kind of future there. Maybe we are in India, we are going towards Mandir Masjid debates and all, taking revenge in the name of religion and all. This is all going backward in a sense. For sure, it is a backward movement in this country. Where we should talk about all these futuristic measures we are discussing on a daily basis, all dividing issues. So that is a different case. But certainly we have brought some issues, like in budget 2019, the national program came on AI. The Niti Aayog released a policy paper called National Strategy for Artificial Intelligence. So these are progressive moves, but these should be discussed because things are not settled here. And they are discussing that how we should propose these measures, propose these changes, and a lot of discussion is needed on the regulation of AI, because it may prove to be very, very beneficial. It may prove to be very much devastating for human species, because even Stephen Hawking said in his last years that artificial intelligence has the capability to wipe out the humanity, because it will try to exist here and it will think humans as its enemies, and when they will be much more capable than humans, then they can do anything. So that is the case here, and these are the challenges of AI, ever going discussion. And for the governments, for the authorities, for the governance issues, we need artificial intelligence today. A lot of problems can be solved, like in hospitals and all, where doctors are not available. Many robots, they may perform many operations. That's a great thing. For the education sector, they can teach consistently, and they can have great solutions in this world. So artificial intelligence is very much helpful, but the regulation is needed. Otherwise, without regulation, there may be many problems. So this is the gist of this article, and they should be established as a legal personality. This is the ultimate suggestion here. Okay. So the advantages are also given, the problems are also given, and the need of regulation is the demand here in this article. This is only given in this article, and we will meet again tomorrow. This is one question I'm giving to you for the mains answer writing, and thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Sene.